Hey guys, welcome to the next Critique the Community. Today we're going to be critiquing portraits with the world's most famous headshot photographer, Peter Hurley himself. I'm going to call him on Zoom in just 1 second. If you'd like to be a part of the next critique, it begins right now, and for December, the genre is animals. We want to see any and all types of animals, but we want to see the most beautiful images possible of these animals. The prizes are even bigger this month. Third place is going to get a free tutorial from fstoppers.com/store. Second place is going to get $500 cash, and first place is going to get $1,000 cash. You can check it all out at fstoppers.com/contest. And I also wanted to mention the first tutorial that we ever filmed with Peter Hurley called The Art Behind the Headshot. We are currently running the biggest sale of all time. We literally sell this tutorial for $300 right now, but we are discounting it to, I believe, $25, and then it's an additional 30% off right now. I think you can get it for around $17 or $18. This tutorial changed my life as well as Peter's life because Peter did not want to reveal all of his secrets. He also never wanted to become an educator, but after releasing this tutorial, it was a wild success. It changed my life because we started making tutorials professionally for photographers, and it changed Peter's life because he ended up becoming a full-time photography educator. Like I said, you can check it out in the description below. Let's go ahead and get into this critique. I'm here with Peter Hurley, certainly the world's most famous headshot photographer, arguably the world's greatest headshot photographer. And we're gonna be going through 10 images from this last month's critique. These are my 10 favorite images. And just so you know, Peter, this was not a headshot contest. This was simply a portrait contest. There's not really any rules. We were incredibly vague. We just wanted to see great portraits of human beings. So I'm going to let you determine who the winner is, but let's do that at the very end. We can go through each one of these one by one, and then maybe we can figure out first, second, and third place once we get through them all.
Sounds good. Well, whoever took the one on the screen is amazing. I mean, it's just like so powerful. Look at this guy's age in his face, and it's the one of the things that I love as humans as we age, and to capture all the. I mean, this guy looks like he's been through a lot. But he's got such a good look with the mustache going, with the earring, the turban, like I think the one thing, and look at his eyes, like the redness in the eyes. I love the light. It looks like there's a warmth in his eyes, like that's not in the land behind him, even though the bokeh is really, really nice and all the focus and attention's going on to his face. But the warmth right around the face, right around here, is so beautiful. I don't know if that was warmed up afterwards, but it looks like it's shot at like sunrise or something, because the sun hasn't quite hit the land, but it's hitting him in the face. I don't know if I'm right or not, but it looks amazing. I love this picture. And I like the proximity. It's hard to shoot people that close and have it. It's very striking, and you can it's very hit or miss. That's why I stress with my work and with the people that I coach that if you capture an intensity of somebody and you can get closer, it gives it so much power. Composition is so huge. And I like this photographer's sense of the proximity here. I don't know if he was trying to cut something out. There's something up here that maybe this guy's under. I don't know. But I'd really struggle with cropping this close, because the yellow of the turban, it looks so cool. Like he really cropped into it just to get in on the face, which he or she. And I find it so amazing. I love this shot. I mean, this is a 4 or 5. I mean, this is excellent. It's definitely a 4. World class. I think it. I mean, it seems so easy to do. It's like natural. Like the guy was probably just. I don't know what went on with this shot, but the expression, the angle of the face, the sun, I don't know if this photographer was just walking by and got this or actually set this up as a portrait shoot. But I would give this, I think it's definitely, I give it world class. I love it. I think it goes in the portfolio, and, I mean, it's awesome.
I really like it. I don't know that I can go with world class unforgettable. I think it's great. I'm going to give it 4 stars, but yeah, world class from Peter Hurley. That is quite a compliment. Let's move on.
All right. Okay.
What are your thoughts on black and white? You know, a lot of actors' headshots are black and white. You were always against black and white headshots.
Oh no, I was a black and white headshot shooter from the start. I was just one of the first ones to go to color. So when I started, I was shooting the window light, and what would happen is the color temperature would change throughout the day. So when headshots, it just made sense to me that headshots were going to go color, because like if you had a redhead, you couldn't tell with in black and white. I was like, the casting directors are going to go color, but nobody would do it. And then I was like, I got to do it. So I started shooting color, and I went right around when I went digital, because color film was so much more expensive than the black and white. I was doing the black and white myself. So, but then I was shooting window light. So it would be like dependent upon whether it was a rainy day or sunny day, or the morning or the afternoon, as to what I was getting in the window. And it was a real pain it was terrible. And I wasn't that good with color back then. So, and I had gone digital. So I was totally confused. So I stayed black and white until I moved into the studio. And then I was like in more control doing the color stuff. But the film black and white and digital black and white are like night and day to me. And I wish I remember all my processing techniques and stuff, because now I'm shooting the 8x10 film camera, and I'm going into the lab, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't remember anything from 20 years ago. So it's interesting stuff. I think the conversion to black and white is so important, and I think that's taste driven, and there's so many variables. So for me, it's really what the photographer wants. Like this one it's got a lot of highlight going on and a lot of detail going into the cheeks and the forehead. There's way more detail in the highlights than there is in the skin next to it, which I find interesting, that there's that much detail here and then it softens out. I would watch. That's too much of a transition from that much texture into that much softness for me. It's just a little strange the way that picks up.
Oh,
So
that's interesting. I didn't even notice that, but now I can't look away. Yeah, that's wacky.
isn't that weird? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
really
don't even
strange.
I'm not even understanding like what editing technique even did that. That's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's picking up because it's somehow the highlights are being separated between the midtones, and you're getting more texture in here because the highlights are punching a lot more than you're not getting that much midtone highlight bounce right off where the highlight is. So I would watch what the transitions do, what the conversion's doing, and whether that's happening in the color as well. So for me, this is shot a little high. I'd like to see it a little low. The chin's a little bit down. I'm always big on getting the bang out of the eye. I can't stand it. I know it's kind of the look that's going on here. She's beautiful. I love the freckles. The hair looks like it's really well done. I've never been into that. I like the space between the lips. I like dropping the mouth open on my subjects often. I just feel like there could be a little bit more of a connection with the camera. She's got really nice cheekbones, and the fall off of light's really nice too. I also feel like the what is this 2x3? This is like, it's just I feel like she's jammed in there. That's why
It does feel a little tight.
She feels like she's just too jammed in there. That's why I like medium format, because the Rolly was square. My first medium format was like a little bit wider than the 5x4 when I shot landscape mode. Anyway, yeah, I feel like the camera could come down. I feel like there could be a little bit more juice out of the expression, but it's interesting. Her chin could come up, and that might help. And I just feel like she's jammed. It's okay. It really bugs me that we're not getting eye contact with that second eye.
But are you saying that from a headshot perspective, or even just a interesting black and white portrait? You don't want one of the eyes covered.
It's an aesthetic. It's just an aesthetic for me. My taste is subjective. So it's, that's just something that I watch. Like I want to see that eye. But this is not headshot material. I don't think, unless she's modeling or something, maybe it would be used for the front of a comp card or something like that. But this looks portraity to me, and it's interesting. But I'm not jumping over it.
What do you rate it? 1 to 5.
Okay. What was it's a it's a it's a 3 to 4. What's 3?
3 is a solid image that could be on a professional photographer's website, as is.
3 for sure.
That I think I agree. My biggest complaint, and I didn't even see it until you pointed it out, is the weird like blurring on the forehead. That's very strange. I see it a little bit on the cheeks, but yeah. Other than that, I really like it. I'm not sure that the hair really bothers me. And the expression, I find it interesting. I like the black and white conversion. But we agree, 3 stars. Let's move on.
Cool. See, what's with the hair? Why would you leave just one little piece like that? That's just weird. That's obviously left there on purpose. That's easily retouchable.
I was
Like that's
I
just,
was interested to hear what you thought about that
that's
strand of
not a,
hair.
is that stuck in her lipstick or something? Like I think she's beautiful and I find the her haircut is very difficult to shoot. That asymmetrical hair that goes down like this is the toughest. That's the toughest haircut to shoot, period.
Hmm.
So this photographer got it on a nice angle. It's helpful that the black point's so heavy, so it's like it's just getting kind of like this looks a little bit messy. It looks like it's done very well. I would have the fact that this is so dark in here is okay, but this choppiness, this is an easy. This is just a hair dive. You got to go in and just dive in and like just hit that because this is too messy for the whole look of the thing. And obviously that's bothersome to me. It doesn't. It looks like it was left there on purpose. I don't know if the photographer actually went up there and like put that there. Like for that to get like that would be. I mean,
It-
there's
It's
obviously
it's so interesting to me. I find myself continually looking at that hair and wondering, was this a purposeful choice? Um, if it was, I feel like I want a little bit more hair. And I want it to be, like, stuck in her lipstick, like and it could be one
yeah.
of these quirky portraits, but as it stands right now, it's just like it feels like a mistake, but how could this image with this beautiful of a model, this detailed retouching, leave that hair there, like, my mind just keeps going back, like, it's on purpose, but then why? Why wouldn't they have done more? Why didn't they remove it in post when they removed every other blemish from her face? I can't figure it out, and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And would you fill that spot? I mean, this is like almost I love the way the light's hitting the hair too. I like the shot. I love the silhouette of it off the background. I like the distance from the subject with the body the way it is. And I normally always say like the midsection, like this crop is like, why do you crop here? It's either go further or come in or go out. But I think it just works with the image. The black and white conversion is great on this one. I like this the way that it was done. I feel like it's a little raccoonish in the eyes. I feel like there's just too much heat in this area, and then the fall off to the cheek, or I don't know if I would have transitioned that less or would have left a little bit more in the. It looks like, I mean, everybody's got lines under her eyes, and she barely has anything. I would have if this is retouch, which I can't tell. I don't know how much was done. I would have left as much as possible in there. In terms of the expression, she's a little standoffish. What is she saying to the camera? I don't think she's 100% comfortable, but I think it's got lookability, which is the image's ability to secure attention from the onlooker.
Yeah,
And
she has this look of, like, fear and discomfort that I find super compelling. I
it,
I I really love this image. I just
yeah,
keep going back and forth between, like, do I like the weird hair or do I hate the weird hair? I don't know, but I think this is my favorite image so far.
well, I think that the photographer had made a conscious choice to leave that there, which I find strange. I don't know, like if their work has little strands of hair everywhere.
That's their signature style.
Anyway, I would have fixed this, and other than that, I would have gotten rid of this, and I would have watched what's going on in here, and I think that it's a 4. It's a really good shot. It's great.
Um, yeah, I guess I would give it a 4 as well. That being said, I think it's my favorite shot so far. but the hair, it's freaking me out. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe part of the reason why I find this so compelling is like, why is that fuzz right on the front of her face? But we can move on.
It got a 4 with the hair like that. That's, you know. Okay. So there's something about you know what people always say to me, they're like, well, you live in New York and you shoot all these interesting people. I live in this little town in wherever and there's nobody interesting looking here. And I was like, I'm going to go to that freaking little town in wherever and shoot 100 people that all look interesting. Like there's interesting human beings all over the world. Look at this dude. Like just his look alone with the freckles and the intensity and the hair and everything, it gives the picture something. So it's already starting with something. Black and white conversion's nice. It's a little bit it looks like it's backlit a little bit with, I don't know what's going on in the front, but the amount of attention at the top of the head is bringing me away from the face, which I wouldn't want to do. And I also think that this is stronger if you coming closer. I don't know why it's got the negative space up top and why you need that much of the chest. I mean, it's just, I just don't think, I think it would be stronger if it was a little bit closer. I wonder if I can zoom into it. Oh, it's not letting me. The other thing is that for me, it's a little NEFA-faced. I use acronyms, non-existent facial activity. So it's intense, but he's not really moving anything. So it's like, you know, you're drawn into it because of the guy's look, not because of what the photographer did with the expression. So I'm not jumping over the shot, actually.
Have you seen the old-fashioned mug shots that like it's gone viral on a few websites? I think F-Stoppers did a post about it a week ago, and some of these gangsters, you know, from like the early 1900s, these photos look incredible. You know, they're dressed in the suit and they got the fedora hat on or whatever, and they got the crazy hard lighting, but it's a mugshot taken at a police station. This kind of gives me that vibe.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about. I mean, I've seen it in the past, so I get the gist of it.
The dead, non-existent facial expression, I don't know. It's kind of working for me in this shot. I'm sure it could be better, but I don't know. I really like it. I dig this guy's look. Maybe if I could, you know, wave a magic wand and change something, maybe I'd darken up that background a little bit, make him jump off that background a little bit more. But I think it's cool. I'm gonna give this at least 3 stars. How about you?
Yeah, I was going to say 3 verging on 4.
Okay.
You know, I just think I'd like a little bit more juice out of the expression, so I'd stick with the 3.
Next up.
I think it's trying to get too creative with lighting and it didn't work. The background with the vignette on it needs to have more fall off. I think the depth of field needs to be shallower. If you're going to make that pull off, I would pull them off the background for that. I think the harsh light through the little, I mean, he's got this cool mustache to shoot it with harsh light through it on an angle. I don't know. Just, that wouldn't work. I'm not a huge fan of strobes because they create BPS, which is big pupil syndrome. So he's got the massive pupil going. You got to at least, I just find that, I don't find that as attractive as having the color in the eye and in color in black and white. I still want a smaller pupil. He looks concerned for his well-being, which I don't like. And he's got like a very light colored, probably, I don't know if that's white or what color that would be, but to have the severe shadow splitting the jacket, like that's a little weird. You know, I'm just not jumping over this. I don't like the black and white conversion either for some reason. Am I hammering this too much? I don't
know. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you notice is like the large iris. I don't think ever in a million years I would consider that. So that's super interesting to your mind goes straight to that. To me, I feel like this image is a little overexposed, like a half stop too bright.
Yeah,
You
that's
agree?
good. Yeah. On yeah.
I don't know. I like playing with the shadows and the hard light and everything. Cutting them in half is interesting. The way it's been done and it's so harsh, I thought for the first time when I saw this, like, oh, he's wearing a suit that's black on one side and white on the other, but I think he's just wearing a white suit and that's just the shadow on the other side.
Yeah.
Um, and then the fact that the top of the hat is just, it feels so bright that it's like losing data. I just want this toned down a little bit. I want it to be a little bit more moody. I might be interested in seeing this in color. But right now it just feels a little too contrasty for me, but I don't think I despise it like you do.
I don't despise it. I just it's
You
not.
you said that this photographer should quit.
I did not. This photographer has got some sort of, lighting setup where they're doing funky stuff. And I think it's cool that they're trying. I would never say quit in this. And it's not, this is definitely a pro photographer trying to do something, or at least somebody who's, if they are an amateur, they're very good. And if they are pro, they could sell this image. This guy looks like he could be a magician and he probably loves it.
What do you rate it?
Listen, I'm going to give it a, what is two?
2 needs work before it hits your professional portfolio.
Yeah, it's a two.
I'm gonna give this one a 3. Let's move on.
Yeah, maybe 2.5. All right. Now, hair in the face. Well done. Way better.
Yeah, I agree. This
Yeah,
feels very intentional.
this is cool. I like the hat. I don't know what that was. That a strap of a shirt that's over the shoulder? Why do we need that? That's just distracting for me. I don't need that at all. I got a necklace
Interesting.
up here. What do I need this thing for? Why is my
I
eye
see.
going away from this beautiful face? Look at the face. Look at the nose. She's got a high nostril presence that's beautiful. She's got a very nice lip structure. Look at the little cleft in the chin, the jawline. This is a beauty. I don't like the fall off on the shadow density on the far side. I think is too deep. I think it could be opened up a little bit, and I don't like that there's zero light in the eye. And again, it's the freaking this thing, this how jammed in they are on the 2x3 format vertical. I just don't.
I don't. This one feels perfectly cropped to me. I don't feel like this one feels too tight at all. I love the hat. I love the lighting. I have a tendency to always light people from towards their nose. And then so when I see photographs that really work that are lit from the broad side like this, I'm always jealous. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I have any good photos lit like this. I love the hair. I love the wind. Um, yeah, the strap. I don't think I ever really considered it until you mentioned it, and now it is a little weird. I keep thinking like, what is that? It looks like it's got shells on the right side. It's like a purse strap or something, but then why is it horizontal? I don't exactly know. You could probably remove that in 2 seconds with Photoshop's new generative fill feature. Have you used that feature?
No, I'm not big on opening up Photoshop very often. I mean, my assistant does my retouching. I'm actually doing a job. I'm actually been working with Evoto, and I'm doing some stuff with Evoto right now. That's been very interesting. But yeah, I try not to do much.
It's pretty crazy. You could like highlight that area and just you don't have to type in anything and just hit go and it'll just remove it and 90% of the time it's perfect.
It
And
knows
then
what you want. It's like, that's it. That's
yeah,
gotta
and
go.
then
That's what they want.
you could highlight her eye and then type in blue eye with catch light and it would boom, it would like generate an eye in that eye socket and
Wow.
50% of the time it's perfect. It's
Wow.
absolutely nuts.
Wow.
So, before when you say like, I want to see that eye, my mind goes to like, yeah, but how would you possibly do that? And now it's like, yeah, just select it in Photoshop, write in 2 words that you want, and boom, Photoshop just draws it for you. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm gonna
Um,
rate this one. I'm gonna rate this one 4 stars. I really like this.
Yeah, I one of the things that you guys have to watch is that the wrinkles on the neck are always created by the photographer generally in this situation. So whenever you get somebody to twist, you're going to get this. So just watch it when you it doesn't bother me and it looks like they actually toned it down. If this is this much twisting then yeah, and you can't take that away. It would look weird. But one of the things I'm not big on warmth. I don't know why. I've always been I don't know why. I just have a problem with warmth on the face. I love this warmth, but I think it's so golden and nice down here, and you're losing saturation all in here. So I would bring this warmth into this area as well.
Good,
Um,
good note.
I'm giving it a 4. It's a strong 4. It's good. It's really good.
Next up.
I want to see more stuff. Look at it. It looks like she's on a mountain or something. I don't want to see more stuff.
Well, you can do that in Photoshop too. Just you can extend the canvas, and just make it white on the edges and then hit fill and it'll just draw what it thinks should be back there. And I'm telling you, like 50% of the time, it's just perfect. It's crazy.
I don't have time in my day for that crap. Like, wow, we're getting a lot of black and white with freckles. What's going on here?
I don't know. Maybe these images were chosen by me, so maybe I have something for freckles.
Maybe you do. This is NEFA face, non-existent facial activity. I also don't like the body tilt or the head tilt. So the body tilt, I would rather have the body straight and the head tilted than the head straight and the body tilted. This has the body tilted and the head tilted. This is like a double whammy. I love the hair though. The playfulness with the hair in this one is great. Even letting the flyaways go and letting the hair do its thing. I like the sheen on the body and on the clavicle. She's got a little sternocleidomastoid tension and trap tension. You got to watch out for that because it starts to create a depth beyond the other side of the collarbone. This is the sternocleidomastoid. Conversion black and white looks pretty nice. The highlights in here are pretty good. The fall off onto the cheek is nice. Again, big pupils and blank on the expression. So for me, I'm not good when there's not expression in there, and especially when it's this in our face, technically done really well. I would just even everything out and then work on expression. But in terms of the black and white conversion and everything, it's good. It's a 3. If it had expression, it'd be a 4. And if it was untilted with expression, it'd be a 4.
You've said it before, maybe it's you call it lookability or something. There is definitely some magic in some photos where human beings have this like dead face. They almost look like a statue or something. You see it a lot in fashion photography.
Yep.
What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, lookability is the image's ability to secure attention from an onlooker. I use it on a scale 1 to 10. And it's just when you look at an image, how much does it secure your attention? So for me, the lookability on this, I always say in your portfolio, lookability of and it depends on your individual scale, because some people scale, they're really picky and I'm like, kind of like, look, a 10 in photography is really hard to attain, but they're out there, right? But I've never taken a perfect headshot, so I don't know if I have 10, if every human being would look at every picture, like my favorite picture, and give it a 10. I don't know. Everybody's different. So it's really up to you. To me, you're right. The vibe in it, I guess it's giving a little bit more, even though I call this actually blank on purpose. She looks like she's blank on purpose. A lot of fashion pictures look like this, and it gives it a little amp up in lookability. But I would like it to have a little bit more juice, but it does give it something. I know what you're talking about. So, it does secure the attention quite a bit. So maybe this is a 3-4. But
when you look at like
a 7, like it goes in the portfolio, but you replace it with something with more juice.
That makes sense. But when you look at classic paintings, you go to the Sistine Chapel or something, and you're looking at these incredible paintings the size of a wall, and they've got all the people in them and everything. Like everybody's face is blank in those classic paintings, right?
Yeah.
And so there's something classic and timeless about just like beauty without being interrupted by a quirky expression or something. Does that make sense, or is that offensive to Peter Hurley?
Well, no. I mean, I just basically, I think I'm sitting here for a number of reasons. One is because of you. You walked in the door and changed my life. But the other thing is that in 2002, in 2000, I picked up a camera. In 2001 and 2002, I was trying to act, model, and take pictures. And in 2002, I started a headshot business. And I was like, okay, when I got headshots done, like what was I looking for in the photographer, and what was out there? And a lot of this was out there. I call it, the NEFA face, non-existent facial activity. So if you looked at the ads of all the headshot photographers in New York, we ran ads in this thing called Reproductions. It's this book. And if you look through that book, I have them from way back when, you'll see everybody's blank. Everybody's like this. And I decided, because I was in front of the camera most of the time, I was like, I never liked pictures of myself like that. So I was like, and I don't think the casting director gets any personality out of it. So for actors, it didn't make any sense. So I was like, I don't want to do this with actors. So I started squinching and getting people to squinch, and they thought I was nuts. And then boom, it took off like a rocket ship because everybody was doing this. And then, you can see the change now. Now there's more expression in actors' headshots, which is great.
How much of a thing are actors' headshots now? Are people still walking around with 8x10s, passing them out?
Not that I know of. No, I mean, the casting directors don't want them. What are they going to do with them? Stick them in a folder somewhere, in a file folder, like in a cabinet? Like, no, everybody's online now. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine. My friend was the biggest printer in LA, and in 2008, I decided I wanted to get myself. I was like, I'm okay with doing really well in New York. I was like, I want to be known nationally. I'm going to go to LA and open up. So I did. And the minute I got there, this guy called me. He said, I'm the biggest printer in LA. I want to take you to breakfast. And I was like, okay. So I went and had breakfast. It turned out to having breakfast with him every time I went out there. He said, when you came, everybody started shooting horizontally and putting the white background behind it and then getting the expressions. And I started printing all this stuff differently. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And I thought that was really cool.
So does that business still exist?
No, done. He was number one, done.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. This shot for me, I feel like I got to give this 4 stars. I really like this.
What did I say? 3?
You said the photographer should quit, I think.
Stop it. I'm saying 3, 4. I said 7 on lookability. Goes in the portfolio. You get a little bit more expression out of it and a little bit more tilt and stuff, and then it stays in there forever. But I'm after your comments, I'm more drawn into it. I'm just, I'm not big on the big pupil syndrome, and I'm not big on that. Guys, get your modeling lights on your strobes, or get a stinger. A stinger is like a little LED light that you just hit them in the eyes with, just to get those pupils down.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. All right, next up. We can't see the eyes at all now. What are your opinions of sunglasses in photos?
I mean, this is obviously a fashiony picture, but I don't know how anybody uses it, because you can't see her, and she can't, I just see her jawline, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Is she wearing like a big furry thing? What's in the background? There's some smoke. There's a lot. This looks like they're trying to, like, the hood. Wouldn't the glasses go on the inside of the hood, not the outside? This is weird. I mean, look at where the hottest spot on the whole thing is the top of her head. It's very strange. It's shot low. There's a lot of, unnecessary stuff in here that I can't even see. I'd rather have it cropped right up top, and then maybe it's somewhat interesting. So I never know what to do with these reflections either. But
you started out as a fashion model, and a pretty high-end fashion model. Then you transition into being a photographer yourself. I'm sure you've done lots of, fashion shoots. When it gets into this high fashion stuff, you probably skipped this phase in your career because you were more legitimate right off the bat. But when I was getting out of college, and when I was in college, I think every guy's dream was I'm going to be a fashion photographer, right? Because you get to hang out with the hot girls. You get to shoot these like crazy, sets and the wild lighting and everything. It just seemed like the most exciting, high paying genre of photography. So what do? We go on websites like Model Mayhem. We find girls that are not models. We get the weirdest clothing that they have in their closets, and then we tell them to just put it all on, like wear 5 different shirts and then wear the fuzzy jacket on top, put the boa, and then like, oh, you've got some ski mask to put on top of your head, put that on top of the head. Oh, you've got a pair of sunglasses, put that on. And then, you just end up taking a bunch of pictures that make no sense. You put them on Model Mayhem and you get you get the thumbs up or whatever.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
being said, many times I see real high-end fashion, I'm thinking Kanye West right now, and it looks way dumber than this, and that's supposed to be legitimate fashion. So even though I can look back on my Model Mayhem days and cringe now and go like, man, what was I doing? I had no idea what I was doing. I still feel like fashion in general is kind of bullshit. And honestly, I cannot tell if this is, some photographer who has no idea what they're doing, or this is Louis Vuitton's newest collection for 2024. I don't know.
It's true. You have such a good perspective. It's true. I find
It
that
looks stupid, but a lot of fashion looks stupid.
Well, first of all, going back to what you said about me with the high fashion, I was not the guy. I would go to the runway shows and try to get on walk the runway and do the stuff like for Prada and Gucci and Dolce and Gabbana and stuff, but I never got that stuff. What I got was all the commercial stuff. Like I did Polo and Abercrombie, but I did like Coke and American Express and that kind of stuff. So I wasn't really doing high fashion stuff. I was doing more of the commercial work, which helped pay the bills. I did Haagen-Dazs. I got to eat ice cream. So these models were in a different zone. I had my lane and I just stuck with it, which was what I do. But when I picked up a camera, I always liked like shadows on when I was shot shadowy because it was cool. That was like you were like a cool model that would work. So that's why I started shadowing up guys, just because of that. So this is very interesting. I just don't know what you do with it in a portfolio. Like I said, I mean, unless you're selling those glasses, but then I don't know. I would have been closer to it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just confused.
What do you rate it?
A lot of time and energy went into this thing. I'm going to say it's a 3. What is 2? It needs work.
2 needs work before it hits your portfolio. But what's so funny is,
it's
if
3.
I told you this was Prada's new line, you would be like, well, there's got to be at least a 4 because Prada's not going to put a 2 in their portfolio. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a 3. If this is, but I don't know what this photographer's going for work wise. If this is the type of stuff they want to get, then put it in your portfolio. But I don't know.
I'm going to give it a 3 as well.
Okay.
This I feel like I know what you're going to say here, because this is becoming very Peter Hurley-esque, but you've got a problem with the expression. You do not like this expression.
No, he looks concerned for his well-being.
And that's bad. That's bad. To be clear, that's bad, right?
Yeah, and I don't like makeup on guys. And then he's got the shininess that we talked about that's hard to control. And then I would consider this a little double chinsville. He's got a stronger jawline than that. But if you go down in here, you got to get this out. This guy's too good looking to have that, and he's got such good features. It seems like a waste of a good expression. I think it's too flary from the bed. The background's too hot. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit in Brownsville for me in terms of the color tone. It's warm and reddish. I think you can get more separation off the lip if you bring cool this down a lot and saturate. You get. I don't know if he's got lipstick on, because that lip color. That's got to be lipstick, right? He's got makeup on. It's just weird with this much makeup on and stuff. But I don't know what he's going for. Like if this was, him trying to be, I don't know what the reason is for that. Like I just don't like makeup on guys at all. And in terms of the tone of the overall image is what I'm saying is brown. Nothing to do with his skin tone. It's just that you can just see if you cooled this down, you would get in and added some, some cooled it way down. It's way too warm, is what I'm saying. For me.
I agree. It feels like the white balance is a little wrong. And then I I just don't really like this expression. It kind of feels like it's in between expressions. If we're going for like angry, scary, I'm cool with that. But then the white turtleneck doesn't really flow with that to me. Um, I feel like I want to see other shots from this session because I like the lighting. I do kind of agree with you. Maybe that background's a little too white. It's kind of eating into the side of his face and his forehead a little bit. And then you've got that, if you look at the top of his head and down the right side, you're getting that weird, like yellow halo-y color when you blow out the background a little bit too hard. Um, but I don't know. There's so much here potential wise, but
Yeah.
it's not working for me totally. That being said, I feel like maybe I give this 3 stars, but it just doesn't feel like a very pleasant image. And if you're going for mean, angry, upset, then like go a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think the photographer's got the skill set, but there's technical thing. This is little tweakage stuff. This is a tweakage of the
Very
face.
little. Yeah.
I use facial conveyance strategy a lot, so I'm always like, "What is the face conveying?" And I'm not liking what this guy's conveying, so I would change that.
It's like disgust.
Yeah,
Disgust
exactly.
in the photographer.
Yeah, like this guy doesn't know what the heck he's doing. Why has he got all this makeup on me? Why is he blowing me out from behind? And why do I look so brown? Yeah, it's just
Yep,
too
yep,
brown.
yep.
All right, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna say it's still a 3. It's just it looks like the photographer's got the skill set. There's just tweakage.
Okay. Next up.
All right.
Is this the final image?
Yeah, that's
All
it.
right.
That's it. What is this splattering stuff? Is this on the lens? Is this what is
No,
this?
no, no. It's definitely dust.
It's what?
It's got to
Dust?
be dust, backlit dust.
Wow. I don't even know how to do that. I'm not a huge fan of the everything coming through the hair. I shot at the Met and I was just working on this image and I shot the curators and the woman was in front of a window in this big hall and she and her hair was kind of doing this. And I was like, shit, what do I do? And I was like, well, the client picked it, so I'm going to work on it. But I shot it like that. It wasn't quite like this. One of the things that you guys have to be very careful of is that whenever somebody has thinning hair or thinner hair, you never blow light through it. So I'll immediately go to a gray background in that case. So this not that she has thin hair, but there's a lot of separation in here, and then you're blasting light through it, so it's just looking skimpy. So that's just a little strange. I think there's too much going on here for me. I know it's portraity, but I'm not a huge hands to the face person. I think the elbows being that close together with the shoulder slope is a little strange. I like the mouth dropped open with the sensuality of the expression that she's given us. I mean, that's kind of interesting, but I just think this thing is trying too hard to be cool, and it's like there's so much going on that it looks like I don't know. She's such a beautiful girl. It would have been simpler if she just did something clean. But maybe this photographer likes busy stuff.
I think I like busy stuff. I don't know. I obviously what you do is like the most simple backgrounds ever. It's like flat, white, black, gray. Um, I I really like the dust in this shot. I feel like it almost feels like outer space or something. I think it's interesting. Maybe the highlight on the camera right side of her hair is a little much, but I don't know that it bothers me that much. It feels like a very different image, and for that reason, it stands out to me. And I really like it. I like her expression. I love the shoulders. Like it's creating this really interesting triangle shape. I like it.
All right, what do you give it?
I'm in between a 3 and a 4 on this. Maybe I give it 3, but I still really like it.
I don't. Yeah. Is this a pro? Like it? Like does somebody? Is it for her or for the portfolio? Like I don't. I think it's a 2 or 3 for me.
Okay,
I mean, if
that's
they
fair.
shoot this kind of stuff and it looks like that, and that's the look of their work, then I guess it goes in the portfolio because it's. I mean, she's definitely interesting. I mean, I would have definitely tried to get more light in the right eye. Um,
Her
because
right eye or camera right?
her left, her
Okay.
right, the right eye, her right eye, camera left. So just to match the other one, I don't know why that would fall off that far that fast. I guess there is. It must be bouncing through the hair. She's getting a wrap around from the hair or from this or from over here off this into this to try to maybe bring the chin down a little bit. I don't know. I like the vibe of her, but yeah, if the photographer is going to get work off of this, then put it in the portfolio, make it a 3. But if not, I would tone it all down. It's too crazy for me. All right, so now we got to pick a winner. So
We have to pick, hold on, we have to pick 3 winners, and we'll start with third place. Third place is going to win any tutorial from fstoppers.com/store. I would suggest you purchase Peter Hurley's The Art Behind the Headshot, because we're doing the crazy sale right now where we're selling it for less than 20 bucks.
$2 or something ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Like,
definitely
third
check that
place?
out. Third place gets any other free tutorial, or that one if you want to just save 20 bucks. What do you choose for the third place image?
Oh, this hair is great. It's between second and third for me with this one and this one. Which one do you like better out of this one and this one?
Oh man, I like both of those a lot. It's so funny because it's like hair that totally makes sense and I really like, and then hair that I potentially hate, but also if that hair wasn't there in this shot, would I have completely overlooked this image?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I'm calling this third, and I'm calling this second.
Hold on. Okay, so third place is this black and white shot.
Yeah.
You're going to win a free tutorial at fstoppers.com/store. Second place, I actually have an extra prize right here.
Hold on.
Second place is this.
Where's the prize?
This is the prize here. This is
what is that?
Yeah, it's a Thunderbolt dock by Ivanki. I hadn't even really heard of Ivanki until I tested this thing out. This dock is nuts because do you use a dock with your MacBook and everything? You plug in one cable and it does a bunch of stuff?
No.
Okay. Well,
what is the dock for? Let me see it.
So if you have look at how many ports this thing has. So basically, if you plug in a bunch of stuff like external monitors, mouse and keyboard, printer, chargers, cameras, Ethernet adapter, tons and tons and tons of stuff. This dock can do more than any other dock I've ever seen because it actually connects with 2 Thunderbolt cables rather than just one. So it's kind of like 2 docks in one. So this is the second place prize. Who's going to get this one, Peter? So
second.
this is the winner of the Ivanki dock. So we're choosing 2 images with wacky hair. And then the number 1 prize, I've actually got this lens right here. This is the Tamron 70 to 180 2.8. Peter,
wow.
Who is the winner?
You know who's going to win. Guys, I'll just give you a hint. Anytime that Liam Patrick asked me to do this kind of stuff, generally you're going to want to shoot a close-up picture landscape to win. So I give this one the win.
Oh, nice. Okay. Interesting. What makes this image stand out over all the others?
I just think that it goes back to what we really do, and what we do is we capture history. We're recording history the minute that we press the shutter. I don't think any AI can do that. I think this was a moment in time where this photographer caught this guy looking like this, and I think that's super powerful in this guy's life. And who knows, he looks pretty old. We don't know how long he's going to be here. And hopefully this photographer got this picture to the guy and his family potentially. And I know it's tough in these situations when it looks like, unless he had developed a rapport with this character, Sometimes you're just not able to do that. So I think it's really important that we decide to pick up a camera and we go record people on this planet and doing what they do. And this looks like this was caught at this guy at this amazing time of light in the day with this amazing expression at this particular age. And I think that's very powerful.
This image was taken by Paul Papanek, and he says, our driver at the Pushkar Camel Fair in Pushkar, India, photographed in natural light with the Nikon D200 and a Nikon 18 to 200 millimeter lens at 46 millimeters. Settings were 1/60th of a second at f5.6. So he's literally shooting his Uber driver.
That's amazing. Well done. You see how important that is? So cool. I shot an Uber driver. The Uber driver took me, and then he scared me when I looked at the profile picture, and we got in, and I said, "What are you doing right now? Can you go by my studio real quick?" Do you remember when I did this?
It does sound familiar.
It was on Facebook, and when people actually looked at stuff on Facebook, but I did it on Facebook Live, and I had like 1,000 people watching me do this shoot of the Uber driver. He picked me up at a restaurant. We were going to another bar, and I said, my studio's in between the bar and the restaurant. Can you stop and like come up? And he actually parked the car, came up into the studio, and I shot him when we did it all live, and it was awesome. And then Facebook saw it, and they flew me out to LA for their opening of Facebook Live. I did it with them because of that.
So much about success and getting access to things and being hired for certain jobs. So much of that, you can point to it from something that you did first on your own time, on your own dime, that somebody else saw and said like, oh yeah, I want to pay them for that. And, I just think back to when I first met you. I'm trying to remember, I guess when I first emailed you in college, the way I found you was I Googled New York City headshot photographer, and you were number one. And like you said, like everybody was shooting kind of dead facial expression, vertical, black and white pictures of people. You were doing the opposite. You were doing horizontal, color, very interesting colors, lighting, shallow depth of field, expressions, like everything was totally different. And that's what made me want to reach out and message you. And then the other thing that you did that nobody else did was you created the like a little commercial for yourself, and I think it was on your website. And it was like for people to get to know you, for people to get an idea of how you work, for people to know like what their headspace should be before they come in to work with you. It was kind of like getting people prepared to hire you. And when I saw that, I just kind of felt like this guy's the shit. Like this guy, and you probably, maybe you were, but there's a very good chance too that you were at the beginning of your career and you were doing everything you could for marketing just to get out there.
I want to find that video. I remember that video. This guy did, and I did it randomly, and it was like the best thing I don't know how I pulled that off. That was before I ever spoke or anything. That was such a good video. I need something like that on my website now. I don't know why I don't have it anymore.
Exactly. Jeez. And so I just, if there's photographers out there that just feel like, man, I'm going out and I'm taking photos, but I'm not getting hired for the jobs or whatever, like, I think it's going to take you doing something a little bit more than the other photographers that are in your area, like getting to the top of Google for whatever your area is, creating a commercial for yourself when everyone else, doesn't do that.
Yeah, I think outside the box. I think it's hard to think outside the box, but and most photographers are looking what other photographers are doing and then doing that, and that can get you only so far. If you really want to be unique, you've got to find out something that makes you stand out. And I think I was very lucky. I don't know how I figured that out. I don't know. I don't know. I guess the modeling helped because I was like trying to figure out how to make my face look interesting. And then that was what I stuck with, and it worked. So in terms of getting the squinch going, I think squinching was the thing,
And for those people watching who don't know who you are or aren't familiar with your work, can you explain what squinching is?
Squinching is narrowing the distance between your lower eyelid and your pupil, which is what we do as humans. No, you're squinting. Don't squint. Your upper lids. Yeah, now you're doing it. Yeah, don't let the upper lids. Yeah, upper lids can't come. You don't want the upper lids to go down too far. Anyway, it's just because as humans, if we're uncertain or fearful, and most people get in front of a camera and they're uncertain, our eyes widen. So that's normal. That's just the way human behavior is. So I would always make them close their eyes, but then it would be squinting, and it wasn't really squinting. Squinting is protecting your eye from sun or something, an element of some sort. Squinching is what we do when we communicate with other humans if we're engaged in thought, and that's what our eyes do naturally on their own. We don't have anything to do with it. If you smile, you squinch because the genuine smiles come from the orbicularis oculi underneath your eye, tensing, which squinches your eye during a smile. That's why fake smiles, you could see a mile away. Half-ass smiles, HASs, how many of you guys have shot those? It's like this. Everybody shoots those, stop shooting those. Don't get them to really smile. Anyway, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for being a part of this. I wish that I had a better live setup here that I could figure out how to run, but I was like, we just got to get this up as quickly as possible. For those who are interested in Peter Hurley, we have done 3 tutorials with you, right?
Yes.
Can you name them all?
Art behind the headshot, illuminating the face, and perfecting the headshot. So Art behind the headshot was our first venture, probably our most successful one. That sucker went crazy, and we know it's on sale right now. And then what happened was Lee and Patrick said, hey, you didn't do much lighting in that. Can we do a lighting thing? And then they walked in, and I didn't know anything about lighting because I'm all self-taught. And I mean, I knew, but I just didn't know exactly how I did it. So that became a complete nightmare for us. But we did illuminating the face, which turned out.
Hold on. Can I tell a funny and embarrassing story about you with that tutorial? So, do you remember us talking about stops of light and how a stop of light was double or half the amount of light? Do you remember this argument we were getting in like while we were filming this tutorial?
Remember, but I didn't know anything back then, so I'm sure I was argumentative. And you walked in and said we have to teach the inverse square law first, and and you were mind blown. I didn't know. I'm self-taught. I don't know any of that stuff. I still don't know. I mean, I know that now.
We started getting into a debate about like how light works, how stops of light are, measured and everything. And then we start going into like, well, what about like a baseball field where there's like tons of lights all around there? And I'm like, yeah, it adds like each time you double the amount of light, the number of lights, you are doubling the amount of light, and therefore it would be one stop or whatever. And you were like, no, it doesn't add more light. It's just changing the direction of the lights. And I was like, what do you, and you were like, cause like a baseball field's big, so they got to have a lot of lights to hit all the different areas of the baseball field. And I was like, well, partly that's true. But if there's one light or if there's 100 lights, the 100 lights are going to produce more light. And you were like, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. And then I'm like, I don't know how to, we're trying to teach a lesson on lighting right now. If you don't agree that 100 makes more than 1, then I don't know how we're going to make this tutorial. But we ended up getting to the bottom of it.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that, but I was definitely wrong. Lighting is such I look, the whole thing and the things that you had me doing in that, I was learning, while we were doing, because you went out and stretched my comfort zone with light, which obviously we showed my staples of what I was doing on a daily basis, but we also wanted to show some interesting lighting techniques, which was fun to do with the models that we had and what we were doing. So that tutorial is really fun. Perfecting the face was the last one we did. Perfecting the
headshot.
Sorry, perfecting the face. And the reason is that so much growth had gone by between the art behind the headshot that I was like, okay, all the stuff in art behind the headshot is good. It's a good base. But I've learned so much, and I've learned how to teach now. So now I can actually fine tune it with people. So the perfecting the headshot, I think it's way longer and way more in depth, right? I think that was
Absolutely.
the last one that we did. So it was an addendum to what we did there, and that's just the way the work goes. Like if I'm not growing, like I said at the beginning, like would be crazy. So it keeps going. But yeah, the tutorials and having you involved in my life and getting me to teach. I mean, I hadn't ever done a workshop. I'd never done a tutorial. I'd never taught anything except for sailing. I was a sailing instructor. And you're like, no, you can teach this. Come on. And it was because of you that my life changed. So thank you.
Well, I mean, I could say the exact same thing to you because up until meeting you, F Stoppers not only wasn't making money, but it was a loss because every single thing that we were doing, we were paying out of our own pocket. It was kind of like a hobby for both Patrick and I. And
Yeah.
so when I emailed you, like I emailed you during college, you were one of the few photographers that got back to me. You answered my question, even though I didn't really understand the answer, but you responded back, which I appreciated. I reached out to you and said, hey, can we come do a free tutorial about you and put it on YouTube? And you were like, okay, sure, whatever. And we flew up there on our own money. We got hotels with our own money. We filmed it and edited it ourselves. And I think when we showed up, you didn't even know what we were doing. You were just like, who are you? Why are you here? And we're like, we're filming a
Yeah.
free promo. And you were like, cool. Yeah. Okay. Come on in. Yeah. But you didn't know what was going on.
Didn't we shoot it a little bit? And I was like, okay, you guys got to get out of here.
Yeah,
right?
you were like, I'm revealing too many secrets. You got to get the hell out of here. So you kicked us out. But we had enough. We made that YouTube video and then people really liked it. And it was just so different than anything that was on the internet because I think photographers have a tendency, we're all about the gear. We're all about the technical side. We want to know the camera settings. We want to know how many megapixels. We want to know the settings in Photoshop to make it look that way. And you didn't care about any of that.
I don't do any of that.
And so we made this tutorial and you were just like the most loud, bombastic, like you're insulting the person in front of your camera, you're screaming at us off cameras. It was just like, who is this psycho photographer? And so it got a good response. And then I said, why don't we just try to make a tutorial that we sell? The production of it was an absolute disaster. I mean, I told the whole story on the 1 million subscriber live stream. I don't think you did know. Well, I think I was hiding it from you because I was so ashamed of like how bad we were at filming. We didn't know what we were doing, right? It was like the first time we had filmed something long.
I was doing either.
Right. We all were learning as we went. And then we released it and it completely changed both of our lives because it was a huge success. And then Patrick and I realized like, oh man, this doesn't have to be a hobby. We've literally made more money selling this tutorial than we've made all year photographing weddings. We were both wedding photographers.
Yeah. It goes to show, just going for stuff. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. And here we are, like 12 years later. Crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's our aging process. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, my hair's been better, but I'm still counting on science to figure something out eventually in my lifetime.
There you go. You look great.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this, and I hope to see you soon.